If you're a beginner artist already feeling overwhelmed and completely lost
and paralyzed to even start,
this video is for you. Let me help you, but first, we need to breathe. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna be fine. This is going to be fun. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere, anytime at all, cause we're in Cat's garage. Today, we will be talking about the 5 beginner art mistakes that I wish I avoided. And I must say, I still make the same mistakes when I'm not actively thinking about them. Let's start off with number 1. Not drawing the basic shapes to start the painting. I'm talking about circles, squares. Literally, I made this mistake a couple days ago. Instead, I was getting too antsy, like I really wanted to start painting. The painting probably would have been better. You will see it in this video. I can just show you the outcome. Woo! When we talk about faces, this is a mistake that I did. When you want to draw a front-facing portrait, you want to start off with a circle. Circle, line, line, and then your jaw. And then you want to draw some lines to mark where the eyes are. I didn't do that. I kind of fixed it, but I'm not happy with it. And as artists, we are our worst critics. We want to critique everything that we do. So I decided to forgive myself for that. This is not only with portraits, this is with landscapes, this is with flowers, this is with anything you want to draw. I love drawing aliens. Sometimes I forget to literally draw a circle before I draw the head, and that's just how it is. Just think of your basic shapes before you even start. Simple, right? It's something that I always forget to do until I'm already doing it and I'm like, maybe I should start over, but then I'm like, yeah, I'm too far into it. It's just for fun anyways. Before I move on, I do art therapy exercises. This is day 16 for me. And in the art therapy exercise, the card that I pulled told me to draw a mask to explore my identity. I've gone through a lot of identity crisis in the past. If you've just met me before, you can check out my DNA shock video. Yeah, if you know me, you know it. I pulled a card from my Oracle deck before I did this art therapy exercise, and I pulled Altered Reality. This card is all about perception and delusion, imagination. Reality is flexible, bendable, moldable, and entirely influenced by what we choose to believe. And sometimes our brain cannot distinguish the difference between reality and imagination, which is why our thoughts hold so much power, and it's important that when we do art, we need to talk good to ourselves about it. Not like, oh, that looks like shit. Well, no, it's not, because you did it, you made it, and it's a beautiful thing that you just did. Even if your first instinct is, that looks like shit. It's not. It's art. It's art. Point case closed. At the end of this exercise, I ended up liking it, even though I messed up. And we're all going to mess up, we're all going to make mistakes because none of us are perfect. Period, honey. This leads into mistake number 2. Getting stressed because it doesn't look like what you envisioned. Let's say you want to draw a flower, and you wanted to draw a rose in particular, but the rose ended up looking like a daisy. Well, maybe it was meant to look like a daisy because it has a different meaning behind your art than what you originally envisioned. Maybe there's something more about the daisy than the rose ever could give you. Stay optimistic. And you're practicing. You're learning. No one's perfect the second that they start drawing. This was my first drawing. This was my most recent drawing. Don't beat yourself up for any of this. Because this, I keep saying it, but like SpongeBob really made a difference. It should be fun. Cut up in a good way. So I need you to question your foundations of truth, of what you believe is truth. Maybe you're not lost. Maybe you're just awakening to a different lens in your life. Lean into the absurd, use it to your advantage, because a shifted reality is a created one. Let's move on to mistake number 3. This one is a debate because I still do this because I want to do it, but it's also something that almost every artist that goes to school is saying, don't do that. I never went to school. Using black for everything is a mistake. Or using black to mix other colors to make it darker. I have noticed that when I use black to mix my colors, it kind of contrasts the painting in not the way that I would like it, especially if you're practicing realism. If you want abstract, this is completely different, okay? But if you want realism, never, ever, ever use black. You need to be thinking about, should I add more yellow? The crows are accepting this. They are yelling, yeah, girl. Add more yellow, add more blue, or add more red. Most of the time, if you're making it darker, you're probably adding more blue. When you want to add cooler areas, darker tones, blue is the way to go. Warmth, lighter areas, yellow. You don't know the basics when you're starting, so that's the basic. Now, if you want to do something silly, something abstract, go for that black marker, okay? Do the black marker. One of my favorite all-time artists is Savannah Saturn Trippy Draws. She's literally my inspiration for a lot of my art, and she uses so much black. So don't be scared of black, just be mindful of what kind of style you're going for. I can use some examples for you. I use a lot of black in this. I actually used so much black in the beginning. All of my colorful things that I wanted to be colorful actually got toned down and were more dark because I used too much black. Those are some examples, and here's some more recent work without using black. So that just gives you a kind of comparison. Mistake number 4, not using any sort of color palette. And rainbow is different. Rainbow actually has a color palette. If you notice, there's actually certain colors to use in a rainbow psychedelic pattern. Red, yellow, light green, light blue, dark blue. I don't know why I did this. Where's my thumb? And hot pink. There's 6 colors in this kind of pattern. So it has a palette. You don't have a palette and you're just like, oh, I can use this and this and this and this. That's when it starts to feel muddy. That's when there's not an aesthetic, there's not a vibe, it's just a muddy creation. That's why palettes exist. Also in the beginning of my artwork, I did a lot of rainbow things, but they weren't really cohesive. Now I stick with a lot of pinks, purples, blues, yellows, those kind of things. And because they're my favorite colors, use colors that you love. Now you can practice with colors you don't like, and then go back to the colors you do like. You can always start with one color. I've done a study where I just did one pink marker, and it ended up looking like this. I also used a black pen in there, so I don't know if I cheated, but it's the thought that counts. Blue, honestly, is probably the best mono color to practice with because there's so many different shades of blue that you can manipulate and mold into a 3D effect. Now let's move on to the last and final mistake. Mistake number 5. Feeling like you need to paint anything and everything. And what I mean by this is you feeling like in order to be a good, wonderful, talented artist, you have to paint portraits, you have to paint landscapes, you have to paint birds, any animal, everyone's dogs, everyone's cats, their kitchen, eggs. I don't know where I'm going with that, but you get what I'm saying. And here's the point I'm trying to get across. If you don't like painting that stuff, if you don't like drawing that stuff, you don't have to be a talented artist. For example, I like landscapes, sometimes portraits, depends on who it is. Also, it depends on the landscape. I'm not a big buildings person. I really like nature-y things like waterfalls and mountains and galaxies and space. Portrait-wise, I don't like doing natural skin tones. I like using fun colors. I also just really like doodling spacey things like aliens, spaceships. I love snails. It depends on the flower, but I really love roses. So you don't have to paint everything. You can just pick what you want and do that. It's all about doing something that you enjoy and pursuing something that you can build on. And if you don't like doing that, then it feels like a job. Then it feels forced. When you're trying to become this all-time talented artist, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes practice. You're not going to be a talented artist overnight. Nobody is. It's a skill that you practice. Start with the things that you love and that you find joy and peace in. That's how a product is mastered, is from passion, is from love. So my question for you is, what beliefs about your reality are you ready to rewrite? Put it in the comments. Like this video and subscribe for more art content. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.